Hello, everyone. It is First Lady Friday, so we will jump right in. Again, we are kind of reading through the book called Are You a Joy Maker? Are You a Joy Maker? You can find this book on Pentecostal Publishing, find it on iBooks. The author's name is, I'm getting there, hang on, by Carla Christian. And so Sister Christian used to be, she used to work for headquarters. She was Brother Jerry Jones's secretarial assistant there at headquarters. And so, she has been in contact, throughout her life with several amazing ministers. And so she just takes a lot of this book and she tells us funny stories, and then we put a biblical twist on it, and we're talking about being joyful. Okay, so tonight we're going to talk about making the right choice. She opens up this chapter with a story of hers, so I will let you read that in your book, but I'll tell you a story of mine. I was in high school. I don't remember. I think maybe senior year, maybe junior, but I think it was senior year, and usually around January, February, I usually get like super, super sick with bronchitis and all kinds of like cold stuff, and I struggle with it. And so I was on, the Dayquil, NyQuil regimen, and I was taking, my medicine. I would take Dayquil in the morning before I went to school, Dayquil in the morning as soon as I got home, and then I'd take NyQuil at night. Well, I got up one day, and I don't know if I was still a little messed up from the NyQuil the night before or what, but I didn't pay attention to the bottles, and I took a heaping dose of NyQuil and then drove to school and went to school. And I remember sitting in my first period class that day, and there's almost like drool coming down the sides of my face, and I was just zoned out, and I just was like this all morning. And I remember my friend beside me, she was like, "What is wrong with you?" And I was like, I don't know what's wrong with me. I mean, I'm sick and I took some medicine, but I don't know what's wrong. And then I knew it was bad when my teacher came over to me and she said, "I think you need to go home." I said, "Well, I can't drive home because I'm taking some bad medicine." Well, I took NyQuil anyway in the morning. So once I realized what I had done, I was like, oh no, I've got to make it through this, and I've got to get through this school day and at least halfway function. And so I just remember my friends being like, "Kelsey, I've never seen you like that before." And it was kind of, I didn't make the right choice on medicine. And so, sometimes we've maybe made those choices, and we make choices every day in our lives. We make the choice whether we're going to get up when our first alarm clock goes off or our third alarm clock. We make a choice on what we're going to wear that day. We make a choice on what we're going to eat. We make choices on how we're going to respond, how we're going to act, what we're going to say, and what we're going to do throughout our day. And so we just need to make sure that we are making the right choice, because God did give us the ability to choose. He didn't create us. He created us to worship Him, but He doesn't make us worship Him. He gives us the opportunity, and He delights in the fact that we choose to worship Him. And so God gave us the right to choose. And so Joshua is one person in the Bible that really chose to worship the Lord. I mean, he just straight up said, "If it seem evil to you to serve the Lord, then choose who you're going to serve. If you're going to serve, the pagan gods of the world or the pagan gods of the Amorites, that's fine. But as for me and for my house, we are going to serve the Lord." And so Joshua made that choice, and he was willing to make that choice, even if nobody else made the choice. Now, thankfully, the children of Israel did make the choice to serve the Lord. But Joshua was willing. It didn't matter who else made that decision. He had determined that he was going to serve the Lord. And so I'm so thankful that, God gives us that choice. And then there's also, she references the book Pride and Prejudice, to where they're in a garden having conversation, the two sisters in Pride and Prejudice. And one one asked the other, hey, how are you doing? You know, you're struggling. Her fiance just up and left or whatever. I've never read the book, honestly. I've watched the movie bits and pieces, maybe. But I haven't seen it all the way through. I haven't read the book all the way through. But apparently, one of the sisters' fiancés just up and leaves. And so the other sister's trying to encourage her and tell her everything's going to be okay. And she says, I am resolved to think of him no more. I promise I shall be well, I shall be myself again, and I shall be perfectly content. And sometimes we need to be like the characters in Jane Austen's book and give ourselves a little pep talk and say, you know, I may have made a bad choice, or something may have gone wrong, but I am going to determine that I'm going to be better. I'm going to feel better. I'm going to act better. I'm going to make the right choices to serve the Lord in the way He wants me to. And so Philippians chapter 4:11 says, not that I speak in respect of want, for I have learned in whatsoever state I am therewith to be content. And so, you know, God gives us, again, the choice to make if we're going to live for Him, if we're not, if we're going to be happy or not, if we're going to be joyful or not. And so I challenge you and encourage you today to make that choice to be a joy maker in your life, to be a joy maker to your family, to your friends, to your coworkers, just to be a joy maker, even to, you know, the lady at the drive-thru or your cashier at the grocery store. Make a choice to be joyful and to serve the Lord in all that we do. I will kind of share this. She if you got the book, at the end of chapter 3, there's a little cartoon, and it's this little boy, and he's talking to his dog sitting beside him, and he says, you're lucky, Howard. You get up in the morning and you're dressed already. And so it's kind of funny. And so, you know, the dogs don't choose to get dressed. Thankfully, we choose what we're going to wear each and every day and how we're going to be holy and modest before the Lord. And so I just encourage you again to make the right choices and to choose to be joyful and to choose to serve the Lord. I thank you for joining with me tonight. That is it for First Lady Friday for this week. Join me again next week. We're going to be on chapter 4 of our book, Are You a Joy Maker? And it is called Not My Day. How many of you have ever been there where you just said, today is not my day? We'll talk about that next Friday at 7:30. I appreciate you guys joining with me. I hope you'll have a great weekend and great church on Sunday. Goodbye.